I need some magic spoon to get me going today. Welcome to the completely unnecessary podcast for May 25th. It's a Tuesday. Don't worry. 2021.
It is Tuesday.
That's Ian Furnison. Ian, what did I say? Furnison?
Furnison.
I'm thinking of Furnaces and Christmas Story. Ian Ferguson with a snappy olive green shirt. I'm Pat Conchita with a black light shirt with alien stuff. Aliens are coming. On the show today, well, they really are here. On the show today, we'll be talking about Netflix getting into gaming. Have millennials killed nostalgia? The Skyward Sword Amiibo controversy, hot tub streaming, and lots of other goodies. But seriously, about the alien stuff, I didn't realize that Obama went on the James Corden show a couple weeks ago, and he basically said, "Oh yeah, there's stuff in the sky we don't know about. Like that's I can tell you for sure." He joked about saying, "Oh yeah, there's stuff I can't tell you about," which I'm like, "Are you joking, Obama? Are you joking, Barack?" But yeah, they're doing the drip. They're going to tell us something pretty cool in June. It's going to be more of there's a lot of stuff in the sky we don't know what it is, which should get more attention than it has been. I don't see why this isn't like people are talking about this every day. And they're like, yeah, there's craft in the sky, and we don't know what it is.
Why June? Is that just the day that they said they're going to come out and talk to us about it?
It could be the one decent thing the past president did. It was part of the stimulus thing from what I read. It was like, you have to declassify certain reports via the Pentagon by this date. It's like June 20th or something. That was like thrown in there for some reason. So they've been doing this slow drip through 60 Minutes. They did the story from a couple weeks ago, which is stuff that they leaked out a few years ago about the Nimitz in San Diego in 2004. That one, there was one that happened about 5 years ago. And they had all the pilots on 60 Minutes say, yeah, we saw this stuff. One of the pilots said, we see stuff every day, he said. For a couple years, we saw stuff in the sky every day. He said it just like that. And it's like, and the reporter was like, "Oh, every day?" He's like, "Yes, every day." This goes back to the astronauts used to see stuff. They reported seeing stuff. It's not space junk. It's not holograms, or these are trained military professionals that can put their careers on the line for making up shit. You know, it's ridiculous. We're way past that point. That's the only one thing Frank always said. It's like you don't believe the person in the swamp seeing stuff, or you believe the professionals. You believe the airline pilots and the military. They know what this stuff's supposed to look like and how it moves. Sorry, I'm all primed for this.
You are.
I'm primed for this because it's ridiculous. Like what the hell is it? I think I'm more leaning into them being like a subterranean ancient civilization that's underground living, and they got tech and they came out and said hi to us, and they do that. Because a lot of these they've seen going into the water, these crafts, so I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of water. Now we're turning into George Norris Coast to Coast show. The sea is a vast, unexplored terrain. There's so much of the sea that has not been explored, and it goes down pretty fucking deep. We can't even get to. There's a lot of creepy stuff. They find new creepy creatures every year. They drag out of the water. It's like, oh, we thought this creature was dead for 1,000,000 years.
Got 10 jaws.
No, I'm serious. Another thing that they thought was dead 50 million years ago. Oh no, here it is. We found another one. They're still alive. It's scary as hell. The deep sea. Scary. I'm not saying aliens are down there. They wouldn't be aliens. They'd be whatever, subterranean humans. It'd be like a Fantastic Four comic. So what did you do this weekend, Ian?
Played D&D, which was great. I made the dinner this week. I did pulled barbecue chicken, and I did.
Oh God, really?
I did.
Fasting.
I did this cheesy corn that was just so delicious.
Oh, I'm not gonna worry.
I'm gonna tell you exactly how to make this cheesy corn right now,
Tell
right
me.
here on this podcast. It's like it's like an Extra Napkins episode. You take 2 bags of frozen corn. You put them in the crock pot, about 2 pounds. You add about 4 tablespoons of butter, about 1.25 blocks of cream cheese, 2/3 of a cup of milk, salt, pepper, cayenne, and then you set it on low. And you just let it go on low for like 3 to 4 hours. And then you throw like a cup of cheddar cheese in there and stir it all up. So good. It was amazing. I also went to the dentist. Got that was the last of my dental emergencies. When I started going to the dentist again last year, I had a lot of shit that I needed to get done. Finished up with a few cavity fillings yesterday. And yeah, feeling great.
Is your mouth saga finally closed? It's like the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's pretty much it. Now it's just
we're on the epilogue with 8 endings. Part of this journey.
I mean, at some point, I'd like to get a couple of fake tooths.
Is there spaces there?
Yeah, I'd like to get a couple implants. But,
they're expensive. That's the problem with it.
They're very expensive.
Like $1,000 a tooth.
Oh, far more expensive.
Oh, really?
far
maybe
more
that's
expensive.
with insurance. There's like insurance only covers like half of it.
There's a lot.
Bullshit.
There's the actual tooth itself is probably $1,000, but there's a lot more.
I know they got. My teeth are fucked. They got to put the fucking peg in there, drill it into your jaw.
I had to get bone grafts in there.
You got that to prepare.
So I've got like I'm like halfway
jawline?
there. I've got the bone grafts.
So you want to get the fake teeth? Well, you don't see it, right? They're too far there, but you just want it just
you
for
can,
chewing.
but it's not for cosmetic reasons. I really don't give a shit. It's because I want to be able to
You want to
chew properly.
You want a couple more.
Yeah.
You want a little extra jaw action there. Like,
Yeah.
what?
A little extra jaw action.
Yeah. Back to the aliens now. What did I do? Oh, I just edited N64 reviews all weekend. 70% written. We're getting there. A couple new editors helping out. There were also awesome writers, Christina and Daniel. Shout out to keep my sanity going.
Hey! Shout out!
I just think it's interesting how from these books I've gotten probably 6 people have said, "Hey, I want to do a book similar to your book or books, but for this console or for this." I've had even 2 people say, "Hey, I want to do an N64 book." And it's nice to have those thoughts and want to do it, but then once you actually get into the muck and you realize this is not something that's easily accomplished, and it's something that tears at your soul in order to finish doing these projects. So to those people that want to do them, hey, best of luck, but there's a reason why you don't see these books come out with this much writing and this much depth and actually reviewing these games. It's tough. But I'm getting there, Ian.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. It'll be finished. Won't be out this year. The book will be finished this year. It'll be finished. Okay, sorry. But
finished but not released.
Yes. That's something that people don't understand. It's like, oh, it's written. It means it's going to come out right away. No. It's like a movie. You got to go into post-production. There's some time. we got to put some stuff together. We got to print stuff. Speaking of stuff being printed, that's worth a lot of money. A guy died of COVID. Unfortunately, he left $20 million worth of baseball cards to his family. We talked about a story similar to this. It happened about a year ago, where a guy was a collector, and because he had a basement full of stuff going back to like the 30s and 20s. And this seems to be a guy, I think, slightly younger. This is a baby boomer. A lot of these people are baby boomers because they grew up, in the 50s, and when baseball exploded after World War II, even bigger. And you had Mickey Mantle, and you had, DiMaggio was on his way out, and you had Willie Mays, you had Jackie Robinson integrating the league, and you had a lot of these collectors had these cards as kids, and they were thrown out. The cards were thrown out. That's why they're not around.
Right.
They're famously, my mom threw out my shoebox full of baseball cards. But we
hear it these days with video games all the time. Back then, it was your baseball cards or your toy soldiers or whatever the hell.
But the cards were actually scarce, unlike the video games.
Sure.
So plus they're paper products, they damage easily. So a lot of these collectors, once you hit like the 70s, once they were like, oh, we're in like our 20s, they started going back and buying this stuff. Because by then, and we talk about in the mid 70s, a lot of these cards were only like 20 years old, 25 years old, even. God, only like 35 years old at that point for like a Babe Ruth card, 40 years old. That's not a huge amount of time. You can still find this stuff. But so this stuff has gone up a huge amount in the past, probably since like the 80s, I'd say this stuff has rocketed up slowly over time. But these are all being held by people that are older and now starting to die off.
Right.
If not the people that fought in World War II, very young people, it's now the next generation. It's people that were born in the 30s, 40s, 50s. They're starting to die off, baby boomers or in between baby boomers and greatest generation, whatever that's even a generation. I don't know. People born like the 30s, late 20s.
Yeah, what other generations pre-baby boomers, did they get names?
Yes. Oh, yes. There's a silent generation, I believe. Like the X-Lennial, like there's this crossover stuff. I don't know. They're all dead by now, unfortunately. Rest in peace. Well, not all, but, It's the oldest person alive, like probably 120 years, I think, at this point, something like that, 125. So this person had Babe Ruth cards, the Mickey Mantle 52 rookie, the famous one where he's looking over his shoulder,
looking coy.
This was a doctor. He was 73. He was a neurologist, and he passed away, unfortunately. He also has memorabilia going back to the 1880s. Now it's going up for auction. So he's got the 33 Babe Ruth Gaudy card, which you probably would, if you saw the picture, you'd say, yeah, I've seen that before. They expected to break $5.2 million, break the record of $5.2 million for any sports card. The president of Memory Lane Auction said, well, of course he's going to say he's running the auction. How is that ethical? How's that ethical? Oh, it's definitely going to be the most ever.
Why does this keep happening?
How is this ethical to do this? Why does the reporter say that's crazy to say? That's going to be an auction house in Tucson, California. And they showed the collection being moved onto a truck. And I'm talking about this guy has, it's a moving truck. Looks like a 16, 18-foot moving truck. Most of it packed 2/3 to 3/4 up of stuff. So it's nuts. He's got Lou Gehrig cards, Honus Wagner, Ted Williams. He has the World Series program books dating back to 1903.
That's cool.
That's fucking cool.
That's cool. I like that sort of shit.
So you're talking about someone that probably started doing this, when he was like probably either late teens, early 20s. Like, I'm going to go back, like how we were doing with our video game stuff. I'm going to go back and buy all this shit my mom threw out or that I still want to get and become the original preservationist for this stuff. It's interesting to see that. But my point about bringing this stuff is not to say, wow, look at all this stuff, is that more and more people are going to die and do this and leave this shit. And it's going to come out into the world. And at some point, not saying a Babe Ruth rookie card or Honus Wagner tobacco cards are ever going to be worth nothing. At some point, there's going to be a lot more back in the market that people that didn't grow up collecting stuff or aren't as interested are going to have to buy to sort of maintain the value. I don't know if that's a possibility. I don't know if someone like me, even if I was rich, would be like, wow, I want to buy a Babe Ruth card for all this amount of money. I'll buy it for this amount. I'll buy it for $100,000, but I'm not spending $5 million on it. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
That's the games we get into. So it's not automatically always going to maintain its value over time. Even for stuff that's actually rare like this. Yes, it's rare.
You still have to have people who want it.
We have two guys that died in the past year that have collections worth many millions of dollars. There's other people that have stuff like this. There is. So it's just will the amount of cards being put back on the market ever run over the number of people that want it? We're ever going to get an imbalance again. That's all I got to say. He started collecting in the early 80s. Oh, so that's a little bit later than people started collecting in the 70s. But okay. He started with baseball cards in 57 and 59 when he was 10 to 12 years old. Yeah, he's a boomer. He is the boomer. He was born in 45, about 46. After he came back, lots of sex, tract housing, and kids start popping out.
Yep.
You have a suburban backyard with your white picket fences. Like that's what happened. That's where we got all our suburbs from after World War II, basically. GIs come back. They want a place to live. Go work in a factory, like Frank's dad. Now, Frank's dad had the best line. It was, all right, so these kids grew up in the Depression with nothing, all right? Then they're asked to go overseas and get shot at, and they come back and you work in a factory for 30 years, all right? That's what they're doing. That's it, yeah. It's true. That's what they all did. My grandfather as well. My grandfather was a bike racer.
A bike racer?
Yeah. He got his patch.
Oh, yeah. I see. I know the patch.
My father and uncle sold his bike. His bike from the 30s. When I found out about it, it was too late. They sold it to some collector. I said, how could you sell what's basically a family heirloom? A bike that at that point was I think it sold 2003 or 4. A bike that at that point was 70 years old. I couldn't believe it. Are you fucking serious?
That's crazy.
And because of that, I go overboard and keep all the shit because they don't keep the important stuff like that.
You've corrected in the extreme direction.
A racing bicycle from the 30s. They fucking that my grandfather fucking. Yeah, I don't get it. I was infuriated. Then my grandfather was like, "Yeah, if I knew if you wanted it, Patrick, I would have kept it." And I was like, "Well." I'm like, I think I might have been off of college at the time. I didn't realize what was going on.
Sure.
And a lot of old people don't keep that stuff. That once they get up there, my grandfather at that point was probably 80. He's like, I don't know. Let's go. What else is happening?
So NFTs are stupid. We've discussed this before.
They've peaked officially according to the analytics. In terms of the money being spent per NFT average has plummeted the past month.
And I mean, with something that got hyped up so quick, I can tell you that I've definitely seen a dramatic decrease in the amount of people talking about them too. The excitement over them in mainstream circles has kind of come and gone. But I did notice that Topps is officially getting into NFTs. I saw that about a week ago.
We predicted that. We said, they're going to have
that was going to happen.
Ripping open a virtual card pack. Yeah.
So Topps got into it. But on YouTube, now it's extended to viral videos, NFTs and viral videos. So there's a apparently quite famous viral video. I think I've seen it once. I honestly
You never saw this video?
I think I've seen it once. Like I don't remember seeing it everywhere, but it's familiar to me. Apparently, it's far more famous than I'm aware. Charlie Bit My Finger.
Oh yeah.
A video of a baby named Charlie biting a finger.
Of his older brother. Who,
and
not just biting it, is happy that he caused the pain to his brother. That's what makes the video.
Yes. And that video was turned into an NFT. It was minted on the blockchain and sold for how much? $760,000, something like that.
$999, so just under $761.
Just under $761.
What a deal.
Usually when we talk about NFTs, we talk about how there's no real like true ownership involved, or, you know, if it's of an image or something like that, it's all over the internet. You can click it, right click it, save it.
Oh, the Nine Cat, according to this article, was sold
Neon
for
$531,000.
Neon? Is it Neon?
Neon.
Oh, like Neon.
Neon.
Like Neon.
Neon.
Oh, and the name. Oh, it's like a three-way split there with the name. Yeah. Got it.
But the people who, the family behind this video is actually delisting it from YouTube after it's been sold. That's not actually going to change anything. That's absolutely...
I'm sure no one has this on their hard drive, or it's not been re-uploaded 1,000 times elsewhere. Yeah.
But it's a symbolic gesture that you don't even usually get that with an NFT sale or purchase. Yeah, I think this is absolutely ridiculous. It's not like this video is going to magically disappear from the internet. It was viewed over 831 million times or some shit like that. Just an absolute 880. I don't want to short it.
Has it already been delisted? Have they paid for it?
Yeah, I believe it's been delisted.
Wow.
So
it said waiting on NFT decision. That was the last update on the 23rd. It was uploaded. Oh no, it was uploaded on May 23rd, 2007. Wow, yeah, early YouTube. Early issue. YouTube
this
1.0.
article does do an interesting thing that I think is interesting. The NFT itself is the token of ownership.
Yeah.
It's not like the video is an NFT. The picture is not an NFT. The GIF is not an NFT when you buy these things. It's the token of ownership.
Yeah.
And the token of ownership points you to what you own.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that people have been talking about is, you know, one of the fears with NFTs is one day all of these NFTs are going to point to fucking broken links.
Oh, I didn't think about that aspect. I thought at least you own. You're saying you don't own the copyright to that. You own that specific. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. Anyways,
it's fucking weird. This is the point.
And I'm done talking about that.
This is the point. People are throwing out money.
I don't want to discuss NFTs.
I mean, God, you're spending $750,000 on something that you can't make money off of. You can't. You're never going to make this back. Even if you got another 880 million views, you're not making that money back. Even on ads.
You could make money. Oh,
tell me.
Well, you can make. No, I'm just saying. Ideally, that's the whole point of NFTs. Is you ideally can make money, but people are buying these things at what I would consider probably maximum valuation.
Oh,
it's only going to go down.
You're talking about investment. I'm talking about actually using that piece to make money off it in a natural market way. That's what I don't see.
Yeah, I don't think you can go and then turn that video into a commercial for something. Just
I guess you can license it out. I've seen that on commercials before being used. Like license it out. You know, you have maybe the ownership in that respect, or print T-shirts. But the point is, you're never making that back. You're not. In terms of selling it for that amount, no.
You're not going to flip it for more.
No,
that's what I keep saying. Is like all these prices,
intrinsic value to any of this stuff.
And that's what I keep thinking about these. Is all these insane prices you've seen for people buying these NFTs?
It's like a stupid tax for the rich. That's what it is. They say it's like a stupid tax buying lottery tickets. This is a stupid tax as well. Almost, you're buying stuff that you're not going to make your money back on in an obscene way. Yeah,
I don't see the valuation going higher.
There are people with lots of money that are really stupid. There's a lot of people that have money that didn't work to get that
I was
money.
going to say, you don't have to be smart to have lots of money.
There's people that got lucky or trust fund or inherited money. There's some that I'll, maybe half and half, but there's a lot of people that have money that don't know what to do with it, obviously, and end up doing shit like this. But they're helping out. Hey, they're paying the people that, that Charlie now has all the money they ever want, whoever got the original,
hopefully,
or the father, their family has this money now. So good for them. The little girl, that meme photo of the girl turning and looking like sinister smile.
She made like $500,000.
Good for her.
Yeah.
These are stupid people with money. You're getting rid of, It's like, I can't even say you're fleecing them because you're not tricking them. They're just stupid.
I would be fine with NFTs fleecing the rich if it wasn't for the fact that it's just
it's destroying the environment, destroying the energy.
I have no problem with fleecing the rich. That's fine.
Don't eat the rich, fleece the rich. There you go.
Fleece the rich. Well, they probably wouldn't taste very good.
I never understood that eat the rich. It's like, okay, I don't want even jokingly cannibalistic things is fucking weird. I'm sorry. That's weird. Okay. You know what's weird? UltimateNintendo.com. You're not fleecing anyone. You're getting great deals on books, RBI baseball stickers, enamel pins, T-shirts. Why are you laughing? How I pull this out of my butt every week. I'm on Cameo as well, cameo.com/PatCountry. I will tell your friend they're an idiot for getting into NFTs on cameo.com/PatCountry. I'm also on Twitch every Wednesday night watching 80s commercials. Ian made a surprise appearance because I tagged him on Twitter.
No, usually I don't go when you tag on Twitter. I usually
it's rare that I tag you though.
Yeah,
it's rare,
but it's usually an instant no.
Wow. Okay, Dad.
But this week was different. I went. I showed
Ask
up.
me again. We're not going.
Yeah.
That's exactly correct. Wow. You just triggered me. Holy shit.
Very sorry.
Oh God, I'm like 4 years old again. Sorry.
Yeah, but I went and watched you do the commercial.
Wasn't it fun?
rundown.
Isn't it fun?
It was interesting.
He always gives me like the quarter fucking compliment on my stuff.
Commercials are not that interesting to me. But it was fun to join the chat.
Hey, Ian, how's this Super Nintendo book? Yeah, it's okay.
It's good.
It's a thing. It's a thing. Thanks, Ian. Another thing, you haven't fucking comment my father. God damn it. Hey, yeah, what do you think about this book I did? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right, you did it.
Hey, you want these extra books back you sent? What should I do with these? He actually said that. What should I do with these?
What should I do with these?
Yes.
Wow, man.
We're getting into my trauma more and more every week. I'm letting it bleed out slowly.
Jeez Louise.
Yes, jeez Louise, Ian. That's a thing.
What do I do with these?
I don't know, Dad. You show them to people. You're proud that your son did something.
Read it.
My uncle was proud of it. My uncle said he was very proud of it. My uncle Jimmy. Thanks, Uncle Jimmy. He was very proud of it.
It's nice that your Uncle Jimmy was into it.
My Uncle Jimmy actually sent me a nice note around Christmas saying, "Hey, Pat, it's awesome you did this stuff. You're doing the creative stuff. It's really cool you're doing that.
Keep it up, Patrick."
Yeah. He basically said something. Wow, I wish my father sent me this note. This is fantastic, Uncle Jimmy. Sorry.
It's all good.
I got into. Go on.
What's next?
I don't know. Online Game Boy multiplayer. Tell me about this. Ian.
So, this is neat. Someone has figured out a way to basically handle the communication protocols between Game Boys over the internet.
This is from TechCrunch.
And with a special link cable, you can plug your Game Boy into a PC and go to like a central hub and link up with someone else and play Tetris, which is very cool. This is something that I remember thinking about 10, 15 years ago. I remember. Like on the Neo Geo, on the Neo Geo Pocket Color message board, I remember we had this conversation once. We were like, is there a way that you could do that? And I remember whoever I was talking to at the time was like, yeah, but it would be really, really tricky. And that does appear to be the case. So they have to basically reverse engineer the communication protocols that for each game.
Each game is different.
For each game is different. Okay, so they can't just. Yeah, it's not like you can go to this central hub and play any two-player.
It's not like the GameSpy interface from the 2000s.
Right,
basically.
You can't just play any Game Boy game with someone. Right now, it's only Tetris. But they said that they will be working. On making more games compatible.
This is YouTuber Stack Smashing. That's the person that pulled this off. or at least is communicating it. You can buy. They're selling. They've monetized it. Good for them. Capitalism. You can buy the adapter kit to do this. USB to Game Boy Link cable adapter.
Between the link cable and the Raspberry Pi.
Oh yeah. Okay. You need a Raspberry Pi to do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a computer. Raspberry Pi is a mini computer. Raspberry Pi Pico. You need to bring and solder on your own. You need a link cable. You can get on Amazon. Blah blah blah. Let's see. Okay, so you need an actual link cable. Then you need this adapter, this USB to link adapter, to solder that into a Raspberry Pi Pico. Okay,
and then the Raspberry Pi communicates is communicating with a server
with like Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, it's cool. And Stack Smashing has made the source code open source, so hopefully more people will jump in, get in there, and do more with it. That would be really freaking cool. If more games, as soon as they figure out how to do Pokemon.
We are entering.
That's crazy.
This is like
that'd be so much fun.
The silver age of handhelds. Basically, you have the Evercade stuff. You got the Playdate coming out. You have all
Analog Pocket, Playdate,
Analog Pocket.
Evercade is huge. Now you got people making multiplayer servers for
it's great.
Game Boys. It's awesome. I couldn't be happier.
Maybe Nintendo will acknowledge they had a Game Boy at one point. They'll say, "Hey, we have a Game Boy. Here's a compilation pack of Game Boy games. That's like something." Here's like do something with these properties.
A lot of good games on the Game Boy.
It's really weird. I want to learn about some. I never had a Game Boy. I want to learn about some of that stuff.
Should do a book.
Only if you write 13, I'll do the Game Boy.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Go out on top with the quadrology, like the original Alien movies. Own the quadrology. Whatever the fuck they called it.
Swimming aliens.
Let's talk limited run.
Yeah.
I haven't done a limited run little mini topic in a while. They're doing some releases and re-releases. I'll start with the one that doesn't interest me quite as much. They're doing the Double Dragon, both Double Dragon games. They're doing the Double Dragon 4 NES one that came out. Wow, is that 4 years ago that came out already? Remember the one that when the cartridge originally came out, they didn't run on all systems and there was problems with them?
That's different.
That was different?
That was you're thinking of the re-release of Super Double Dragon.
Oh, that was the re-release of Super Double Dragon. Oh, yeah, that was one with the problems.
And that was the one that was
my apologies.
Double Dragon 4, this was
the NES one was fine. Okay.
This isn't an NES game. This was a retro Double Dragon made like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. This wasn't put on a cart originally.
No.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay, I'm sorry. I confused that with the Super Double Dragon. Okay, this came out 4 years ago. Now there's going to have a Switch limited collector's edition here with cute Billy and Jimmy keychains of Billy kicking Jimmy in the nards there. And it's going to have a soundtrack on this in a retro cartridge case, so it looks like an NES cartridge, the soundtrack. And you get a poster here. They're also, though, doing a limited collector's edition of the Double Dragon Neon one. That's the newest one, right?
No.
That's not the newest one.
Wait. In terms of Double Dragon, yes. But it's a few years old. It was released on the 360. Yeah. It's old.
Holy shit.
It's a very old game that's finally... It's an old game that's finally getting a physical release.
So that's getting a Switch release as well. And that has a really cool cassette soundtrack. That's awesome. They're actually putting an audio cassette there, and you get cards, and you get Dragon Kick soda can. It's empty. It says, and you get Billy and Jimmy figures there. So yeah, these are cool little packages. I've never played either of these. You're more the beat 'em up guy when it comes to this. I was kind of interested in the time to see an NES style Double Dragon sequel, because that sort of like, oh, we're gonna do because that's only happened with like this and really Mega Man, where we said, oh, we're gonna come out with like official NES style, sequels.
I didn't really give Double Dragon Neon much of a chance. I know a lot of it's one of those games that got kind of shit on when it came out, and over the past few years, a lot of people have gone back to it and been like, no, it really wasn't that bad. So, especially with my current like love of beat 'em ups, I will try Double Dragon Neon. I will definitely give that a fair shake at some point. Double Dragon 4, I have digitally, I think, on the PlayStation 4. It's fine. I didn't love it. Didn't hate it. It was okay.
It's an NES style.
Yeah, it's an NES style Double Dragon.
But wasn't done in assembly though. Okay, that I didn't know. So you can't make an NES card.
No, it was meant to look like an NES game, but it's just a modern.
All right, I would have been maybe in on that if it was like an NES card, like an actual NES card. But that okay. So these are the two little guys that I'm like, okay, these are interesting. What's more interesting though is the Mega Man Wily Wars Genesis re-release they're doing. Well, it technically never came out on the Genesis itself, but the Mega Drive, it came out in Europe. So that's a very hard to find game that without even looking, goes for probably several $100s at this point complete.
I've probably seen more bootlegs of that game than almost anything else on the Genesis. It's a really, really popular bootleg because it was never released here and because it's so expensive, even if you can find it. I don't think I've ever actually seen a legit copy of it. I think I've only seen the bootlegs.
It was probably several $100s a few years ago. Now the one buy it now is $1,600.
There you go.
Again, this is PAL on the Mega Drive here. There's tons of bootlegs you can buy here.
Yeah.
I mean, tons. Man, I should have bought it when it was a few $100s, like back in like 2015.
Outside of Pokemon, I swear it's one of the most bootlegged games.
I had no idea. I should have realized with the everyone spending money on Charlie Bit My Finger and other weird stuff happening. There's also it looks like in Japan it doesn't go for nearly as much. There's one in Japan for $355. There. Wonder why? Because they want to say Mega Man, I guess, versus Rockman.
Probably.
I guess
collectors are weird.
Okay. So they're doing this as well. And this package has they got a standard $70 one. Oh, it's published by Retrobit.
I was gonna say this looks like a Retrobit release.
Oh, this one's published. Okay, they've partnered with Limited Run the past couple years to help sell stuff with them. So so it's a collector's edition. You get a cartridge sleeve, full color instructional manual.
I actually really like the box on this. It opens and you can see the Mega Man in there. It's lenticular, so it's probably one of those hologram ones. But it comes with 4 different cards,
so you can swap them.
You can switch it out.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
I'm actually sold on that. That's pretty cool.
It has a clear blue cartridge, blue bomber cartridge. And then it has a certificate of authenticity. I think it's funny just to see that. You can say, hey, look, I got a certificate saying that this isn't bootleg, that Capcom is licensed this.
It's something that they've always done with their releases. But it's nice to know, and it's one thing that I always like to point out when these sorts of releases happen. This is official. There's nothing dicey about this. This is Capcom backed.
Yeah. They're saying, go have at it, Retrobit. Make your sticker books and
You've
stuff.
actually got a good option now. You can either get the original European one for way too much, or buy a new one.
And we'll see what it does with prices. We'll see if it brings prices down. But if there's bootlegs, though, people might. But there's some people like me that I want something official. I don't like bootlegs, but maybe something official I'd get, So these are all open pre-orders. That's the good news. They're open pre-orders. And then for this one, you have until June 20th. To get this one. So you got a full month to get it. So no complaints. You got a month to pre-order it. So I don't want to hear, they're making it artificial scarcity. They're going to make as many as people, order. So there you have it. There you go. You ever think about stocking any of these? They don't do wholesale stuff to like game stores, do they? Do they do like Retrobit for stuff like this? Can you put these on the shelf? Would people buy these if you stock this?
I think certain ones they would, but people don't talk about it a lot.
Yeah. Oh. They don't talk about these licensed re-releases?
If we were, I don't know.
Okay. Metroid Prime 4, remember, had the teaser for this, at this point, 3 years ago, saying, oh, it's in development. And then the year later, I remember that game that was in development? We threw all that out, and we're going to start from scratch, which was the last time we ever saw just about Nintendo say something's in development because they realized there's no advantage to doing that. And it's an embarrassment that will never happen again. Say what you will about Nintendo, they usually learn from their mistakes. And it may take a while to come around, but they don't usually do the same thing twice. That's bad. So this was alerted us on Twitter that there's a Metroid Prime 4. We don't usually talk about this, but this is interesting because it's the one weird case with Nintendo. It's listed on Best Buy's site, Metroid Prime 4 for Nintendo Switch. There's an official listing on Best Buy site with a SKU already for it. Release date not announced. You can pre-order, I guess, if you wanted to, and then have it come out whenever. But I just think it's interesting that, that they got a SKU for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that means
they got a UPC code basically. They got.
Maybe we'll actually see something.
A stock keeping unit is different than a UPC. They can be the same. This might be Best Buy just maybe getting word, and we're going to just put it on our site for some reason. But Best Buy made a SKU for it. Yeah, my mistake. I should know better. A SKU is not necessarily the UPC. It can be though, but it's an internal keeping code. That's what a SKU is.
What about a SKU PC?
Is that a thing?
No, I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
SKU PC?
SKU PC.
Sounds like an 80s toy, which we'll get into later about nostalgia.
SKUpy.
Controversy, Ian, with Skyward Sword. Nintendo's not learned this mistake. This is the first time they've done this. Something like this.
Yeah, this is lame. So I don't think Nintendo will reverse course on this. So I don't know much about how Skyward Sword is played, but I do know that traveling between, I guess, dungeons in the sky is something you can do in Skyward Sword. And according to people who have played it, played the original game, it was one of the more disliked aspects.
We love dungeons in the sky. Oh, tell me why. Yeah, 90s techno stuff.
Castles in the Sky by Ian Van Dahl.
That was an Ian. Oh.
Yeah, it was. You threw me for a loopy.
So
anyways,
traveling?
yes. So this travel mechanic, however it works entirely, was one of the more disliked, frowned upon aspects of the original game. So they fixed it in this game, but to do this sort of fast travel, you need to buy an amiibo. And that just seems really lame. These updates and
Update.
These upgrades and remasters, the whole point of buying them is for these quality of life improvements that weren't there the first time. So to sort of buy one and then be told to get that extra, so you're already paying $60 for this re-release of a game that's been out for years.
Ian's clapping. He's angry.
I get it. I'm not $60. Wouldn't be so upset with that if everything was included, but to charge $60 and then be like, no, you have to give us a little bit more to play this, properly, or to play this, in the smoothest way possible. That's fucking annoying. And I think that's real shitty.
And it's a $25 amiibo. Didn't amiibo start at like $10-12?
Oh, it's not even. That's right. It's one of the bigger ones. It's a bigger amiibo.
So you can say, okay, it's a $10 little amiibo. Like they were $10 when these came out.
They were like 13,
like 6 years ago, whenever it was.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it was Wii U.
Okay.
It was the one thing they made money off of with the Wii U was selling plastic shit. So you have a situation, like Ian astutely pointed out, you're paying $60 for an upgraded product that's not totally upgraded. We're going to paywall stuff that's in the game. We program this shit in the game, but now you use your little what is it, NFC fucking thing? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And then we zap it in and say, okay, it's unlocked now because you spent money.
It's
for $25 extra, by the way.
It's gross, and
yes, you get a little statue trinket, but
I cannot. I mean, there's no way to justify or spin that. That's just greed. And
this is bad.
Yeah, it's a bummer to see, and I don't think they'll go back on it. But yeah, paying $60 to have the upgradable version that's not upgraded. I mean, I
don't remember Nintendo ever doing this before. Right. Yeah, you can always do the amiibo. You scan it in, you get a fucking extra ingredient for your Breath of the Wild pot or whatever. That wasn't changing the game. It wasn't altering the game to such an extent.
Get a handful of rupees.
Yeah, you get a fucking axe showing up, and you kill some guy with, I don't know.
I've definitely played games with amiibos that unlock or do things, but it's always something small. It's not like a massive improvement to the flow of the game.
Yeah, this makes your life better because you're cutting out all this travel time.
It cuts out something that was poorly reviewed the first time. So it's like, pay us money to get rid of this problem, even though that's what these releases are already supposed to do.
Well, now the cynic me is like, did they figure this out afterwards, or was this planned the whole time? Nintendo didn't realize that, hey, we're going to milk you for an extra $25. Plus tax. If you get it.
I got to go get a seltzer.
Do you think that you're leaving? You're leaving the podcast.
Yeah, I'm walking down the street.
Okay. Okay, am I doing the next top by myself?
No, I'm literally just grabbing a can from the fridge.
All right, we're back, and Ian has his polar seltzer water. Did you bring enough for the whole classroom, Ian?
I did not.
What flavor is that?
Cranberry lime.
Oh, that would have been so delicious. Where did you get that from? I'm going to buy some.
Vani gets it at the naval base.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the few places in San Diego you can buy polar by the case.
Okay. Speaking of water, Ian, hot tub streaming. has hit the mainstream consciousness the past few weeks. So on Twitch, there's a new phenomenon that's it's been started or allowed.
A fad?
Fad, maybe, probably not at this point, where streamers are either streaming from a jacuzzi, an actual jacuzzi, or a hot tub, or what it's turned into is people getting an inflatable pool, putting it in their room, filling it with water to put on a swimsuit or bikini, and streaming. This is what's been developing. So, of course, naturally, a lot of people, some streamers and people watching, like, what is happening? And asking questions like, is this what Twitch is for? Blah, 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 blah. You know, so people were waiting for Amazon/Twitch, Amazon owns Twitch, to respond and to say, hey, is this proper? What do we think about this? Especially since an advertiser came out against this. An advertiser basically said, what is this? What do we want to advertise in front of this? So it forced Twitch. Twitch could have done a couple of things. They could have said, no, you're not allowed to do this. This is for, if you're going to be in a room, you should be gaming and not in an inflatable pool. Instead, they made a specific pools, hot tubs, and beaches category to try to address advertiser confusion surrounding hot tub streams. So
basically, advertisers can choose by category to opt into or opt out of certain advertising. Obviously, certain things they can't. You can't do like race, gender, etc., that sort of thing. But they could choose to opt out of, say, this pools, hot tubs, and beaches category.
Well, you have categories of streaming. There's not racial based categories, but
no, I'm just saying, like advertisers can choose what they can.
So they
can't do it
so
based
when I
on
stream,
like religion, creed, etc., but you can do it on this.
Yes, but like what I'm saying, like when I stream, like if I stream 80s commercials, I hit the retro sort of category. There's categories for games, you know, things like that. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is interesting. They went that route instead of just saying we're going to just not allow it, or have a sort of zero tolerance policy when it comes down to it. So they put out a lengthy statement, and there's some good in this statement they put out. They acknowledge the confusion surrounding hot tub streams, a growing subset of streams on Twitch that consists of people streaming while in a hot tub or mini pool. Yes, they're mostly mini pools. They're mostly people just setting up inflatable, 4-year-old pools, the little ones we had as a kid, and doing that. They said if you have chosen swimwear that is allowed under the Swim and Beaches contextual exception to our standard nudity and attire policy. Oh my God, my head's swimming. You should stream into the pools, hot tubs, and beaches category. I like how they said you should stream into them. We'll be reaching out to creators with more details on how to use this category moving forward.
That was me going down a water slide into the pools, beaches.
God, I miss water parks. Streamers have always been allowed to appear in swimwear, according to the blog, so long as wearing swimwear is contextually appropriate, i.e. at a beach, in a hot tub, or in a pool. The blog mentions that nudity or sexually explicit content, which the site defines as pornography, sex acts, and sexual services, is not allowed. Twitch says its sexually suggestive policy, which has been used by some to rally against hot tub streams, was meant to draw a line on content that is overtly or explicitly sexually aggressive, not to ban all content that could be viewed as sexually suggestive, according to the blog. Okay, so they're basically saying that you can be sexy, but you can't do sex acts. Okay.
Yeah, no Beach Boy blowbangers.
What? Is that a band?
Huh?
Okay, so here's the deal, though. You're now going to get into, it's already a gray area. You're going to have someone actually decide and define what or is not qualifies as sexually suggestive or not. You're going to have someone and you're going to have arguments come up now saying, well, because I've seen the pictures, well, that bikini streamer is humping a banana floaty. Is that sexually suggestive? Yes or no? Someone's going to have to decide this stuff now versus another guy who maybe, I don't know, rubs himself and that's decided to be sexual. We're getting into this area now where the argument is like, is Twitch designed for this? No, I don't think it is. I'm just going to say that. And it's not just gaming. Yes, Twitch started as Justin TV. I know that. I streamed fucking 2010 awkward hourly meetups or 2-hour meetups. The point is that now you're having Amazon decide what is not appropriate in areas where they did not have to think about before, and we didn't have to think about. And you should say, hey, Pat, why do you give a shit at all if you're not doing that? It does because it affects everyone. Because obviously it affects advertisers saying, I don't want to put my money into this. Now, though, if something happens where something sexually suggestive is involved, there's children involved because Twitch is 13 plus, you're going to have
but you put mature filters on your content.
But they're not saying that it's sexually suggestive, though. If they said it's required, this is mature and it's age gated, I have less of a problem.
I thought that was in an article I had read previously, but maybe not.
If they do that, I have less of a problem because they're not saying by doing this, they're saying this isn't sexual content. Amazon is basically saying this is not sexual. They're not. They're saying that it's not sexual content. What if it's used as sexual content? What if the streamer does that? Now you're going to get into all these weird areas that before, if it wasn't a category, well, okay, it's just it's not something you do. Yeah, you can walk along the beach, but now you're not saying, well, I'm going to jump up and down in a floaty for extra tips. Like these are the things that they're probably already happening. As far as I know, there's stuff that happens like this already that isn't talked about. But now what Amazon is doing is basically saying this is okay, and we're now endorsing this content. That's where it's going to be a problem, not just for other streamers saying, well, this is ridiculous, but for advertisers. And this is before we get into, God, this is now we're going on dark territory. If they're not saying it's sexual content, so now they're basically saying if you're 14, you could do content like this, and it's okay. That's the weird areas Amazon is putting themselves into, where before they shouldn't have to tiptoe into this pool, which they now are. And that's the problem. This could trigger an adpocalypse type of situation where advertisers saying, what the fuck is happening? And have multiple advertisers pulling out at the same time. It's bizarre, and I'm shocked that they went this route and said, this is the easy way to solve this is that we're going to have a new category and doing this. I don't know what the end game is. I don't know. I'm thinking of all the negatives. What is the positives that they're getting at this? Could they bring in that much more revenue for going into this? If not, R-rated territory, heavy PG-13 character, I have no idea. But this is not something that a lot of people are comfortable with. Other streamers aren't comfortable with. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I personally think it's a bunch of hoopla about not much. I mean, as kids, we all tuned into MTV and watched Spring Break and saw people in bathing suits gyrating all over the beach.
Yeah, but you weren't interacting directly with those people. You weren't potentially giving tips to those people. You weren't potentially being persuaded by those people to get money to give me because I will do something that's tittillating.
If that's what gets money. I just don't care what people do with their bodies, and I don't think there's really as much concern. I don't think it's opening the Pandora's box that you think it's opening.
So even if the children are involved, you don't think it's a Pandora's box?
I think that it should probably be age gated.
Yes. I don't see anything saying it's going to be age gated. If it's age gated, there's less of a problem. But it's yeah.
Yeah, I would certainly be concerned about kids doing that, like streaming that way. But if they age gate it or say you can't do it unless you're this age, I really don't see there being that big of a deal, and it seems like a pretty simple fix. But they also say that this isn't the end of the policy. They said that this is temporary. At the end of that announcement, they say that this is not the final answer.
I think the point is that they were more concerned about losing advertisers than what direction they wanted their content to go. That to me is the biggest takeaway. Is that we want to do something right now to appease advertisers versus maybe addressing something that's could be used for nefarious and would be used for nefarious means. I mean, hell, there was the whole report about whole freaking pedophile networks targeting children's YouTube's videos where like little boys and girls were just doing like fucking jumping jacks and stuff like that. And they were like saying, oh, go to this part in the video, watch. This is now you're interacting with them. You can have creeps interacting with children or vice versa. I don't think I'm comfortable with someone who might be doing something teetering the line of R-rated with children watching and asking them for money or even subscribing or following. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm just not. I don't think that's what it's for. But that's all I'm going to say about that.